I have two failed businesses. When I say business, I don't mean online business. One private limited company, and second was a multi cuisine restaurant. And for a long time, I hid that. I felt shamed, like they were the permanent marks on my record. They were like, it was just who I was. The past few months brought a major life change. It put me in a really bad place. I was dealing with an heavy depression, carrying this constant crushing guilt that I wasn't doing anything productive enough. I started streaming consistently just to cope with anxiety, which gave me a reason to speak out loud and meet some fellow gamers. I was looking for a way to anchor myself. I was trying to find some stability. I signed up for an MBA program. It started just last month. But then the real turning point happened. For the past 5 months, my mental space was so clouded I couldn't even get through a single page of book. I couldn't listen to music or think straight. And then I had to travel to my hometown due to some emergency. While coming back, I picked up one book, this Tuesdays with Mori. After reading this, it gave me something to look forward to. It gave me the clarity to realize that I have to own my past and they should be treated as a past. These aren't just failure rather than an experiences. These are the mistakes I need to avoid in the future and you should avoid if you're planning to start your own. Let me tell you why you should be watching this journey. I am building everything from rock bottom. I don't have any financial backing. Hell, I don't even have any connection to bring in clients if I want to start a software agency, which I'm not going to do again. I will start a business, but it won't be a software agency now. But we'll see about that. My first business was a software agency, which I started with a friend during college. We pitched to everyone. We built apps for free just to prove that we could code and provide value that they are looking for. But here's the truth, without connection or any collateral to back you up, these doors stay shut. Once graduated and I got a job offer, I quit finding clients and even dropped the idea to run a business completely. I thought, let me work for a few years, save some money, build connections, and then I will start my business again. You might look at that and think, he just gave up and took a safe job. He didn't know what he was doing. But the truth is, my dad is laborer and finances were always a mess. And when you have a responsibility, when you have a family, when you have to choose between paying the piled up rent or putting the food on table or paying off the old debts, you don't take risk to start a business to see when it will be fruitful. You don't take risk at all. You just take a job. I did that. I took my first job in July 2019, switched to another in October 2019. I was making about 30,000 rupees at the time, and there was absolutely no time to stabilize because in just next 6 months, it was March 2020, COVID. I was the sole earner, and suddenly I was trying to handle household expenses and a massive medical emergency which just were not seen. And truth be told, COVID was the worst time for anyone to be sick. I fought through that. I would say that might have been a very dark time for me. I persevered and By August 2021, I managed to secure a massive job offer, 30 LPA package plus 10% variable, 33 LPA, and an almost 650% hike. I accepted that offer right away, put in my resignation, and then the tech layoffs started. Two offers were rescinded, three interviews were frozen, and the one offer was called right before the paperwork. I was left with no job, no money, and the constant medical bills, they just kept piling up. Out of pure survival, I tried to look for freelance gigs. I took any gigs that came my way. That eventually forced me to start my own company, Panda Slow Apps Private Limited. Turns out, enterprise client don't hire freelance team, but rather get a private limited company to have a contract with. Maybe something happened during COVID that these private limited companies have some bad time with the freelancers. And one of them told me like they had hired a freelancer team and they just shut their company right in between. So they are looking only for private limited companies then. The one they had hired was LLP, not a private limited, that was still a personal one. So now I was getting ready to register a company. Let me tell you this, getting a company registered in India is an absolute nightmare. I wanted to name my company as WebEx Studio, the same name we used to run during college. But according to MCA, Web Studio and WebEx Studio were the same. And every name I chose just kept on getting rejected because part of the name matched. And it's not just you can say, this is what I want to name my company. You have to provide them with your mission statement and the reason why you are choosing that name. When you are all the names are getting constantly being rejected, how are you going to come up with the reason why you are choosing this name? I just said I am choosing Pandas Lore. I don't know what else I have available right now. If every name I choose you're just going to get them rejected, why not just use this one? So I chose Pandas Lore as I needed the registration to go through as soon as possible, and it still took more than 6 months to get registered. Then another nail hits, that is compliances. Compliances are not just nail, they are bulldozer. They eat away all the time. You're not meeting any clients, you're not building a software anymore. You are busy filing documents. Unfortunately, my clients got into a bad deal. The biggest one got sued, and I had to pull the plug. I paid out everyone of my own pockets just so I can close this one cleanly. I landed a job at EPAM Systems as a senior software engineer. And let me tell you this, I was right at the edge. If I didn't get this job by next month, I would be right on the street. I was saved in a nick of time, and I am extremely grateful to God who has been watching over me. I'm still here today and I am incredibly grateful for this. And this job is the one that built a foundation that allowed me to keep fighting. I tried to consolidate all my loans, but getting the offer rescinded, being laid off, losing the software company, it did something to me. It planted a deep paralyzing fear of failure inside of me. It was so strong that I didn't even think about building software on the side. Every move I made after that might look calculated, but in truth, the biggest underlying bias behind every decision was fear. The anxiety of tech layoffs happening at any moment, it just pushed me to find ways to make some extra money. It wasn't about a passion anymore, it was more about survival. I was so terrified of being laid off that I just kept on looking for something better. I was so terrified of not being able to pay the EMIs or taking care of my family was even hard. Like the anxiety just kept on pressuring you and it just smushing you until you can't breathe. And beneath all of this, I was carrying this quiet and heavy fear for not being good for my partner. And when you operate under that kind of pressure, fear dictates every choice you make. You don't play to win, you play not to lose. Driven by the fear, I tried to build a safety net outside of tech. I started a side business, a multi cuisine restaurant with a friend, just to provide a steady place for my dad. Then reality hit. The cash burn in restaurant is brutal. My friend was great, but the external factors like workers being poached and operational costs just kept growing. Online platforms like Zomato, they eat away anything you make, either through ads or platform commission, and even on the delivery distance. We, as a business owner, had to pay for the discounts that Zomato was providing, had to pay for Zomato's platform fee, had to pay commission for every order, had to get their premium ad packages so that our restaurant is visible to the end users. And then we also have to pay for the delivery partners for every kilometer they travel to deliver. On paper, sale was 70 to 80K a week, but realized net we get was 10K. Just being on Zomato, we were just bleeding really bad. We had to close that down, took the hit, and that hit took a massive toll on me. I couldn't think straight. I felt so guilty and ashamed of losing again. I am still living with the shame and guilt of dragging my friend into this. He might have been well off if I had not dragged him into this. I have a stable job while he can't even work anywhere. After losing the tech business, it I took on a risk on a complete different industry out of fear, and it wasn't still enough. It took everything out of me just to stand back up, and the truth is that fear, it never goes away. Even now as I sit here, I am grateful to have a job, but watching AI taking over the industry, new tools coming every week with the layoff news coming in again, the anxiety of being laid off is back and it's still lingering on the background. I don't know if the next version of Codex or Claude AI will bring out something that will not even require us to safeguard it, will not even require us to take a look at the code. And that fear just kept on creeping in. And I can't sit here afraid and try not to build. If this ends, I have no idea what I am doing or what I will be doing. So I'm setting up some clear goals. I have ran a business. I know how and why they fail. I have ran a business in tech as well as an offline, which is a restaurant. And now I'm taking the hard earned reality and combining it with the deep tech engineering. My goal is to become a definitive subject matter expert in risk and AI. I gave risk and AI by GARP the certification exam last week. Just waiting on the results. It might be in June. Even if I fail or pass, I am gonna do everything to be the definitive subject matter expert in this particular field. And since I have a keen interest in business, I am pursuing MBA. I am pivoting from building software to understand the business mechanics behind it and the risk of where AI is going to take us. So, I am learning and I am sharing what I know. If you are watching the big YouTubers or the businessmen who said they made it without even showing you their failures, then you're seeing only one side of the coin. Every creator you know who hides this part of the journey usually has money, a connection through a tier 1 college or a family, and a safety net. For someone like us who has to provide while studying, who has to work while everyone rests, we have to learn it the hard way. And that is exactly why you need to know what mistakes to avoid. I will be breaking down every single mistake I made and what I would do differently if I were in the same position today. I was extremely lucky to be saved in the nick of time. You might not be. So, watch me. Let me share everything that I have learned throughout this journey and everything that I am building towards.